wait a minute. You all set, Joe?
Yep, all set.
Thank you.
Are we on?
Yes. She said
Okay, I do have to give you a notification that the hearing is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, broadcast over Lunenburg Public Access. I'd like to introduce the members. To my left is Lisa Normandin, the board secretary. I'm Alfred Gravel. This is James Bezikoski, Hans Winthrop, Dave Blatt, and Patrick Callahan. The way the hearing will proceed is Lisa will read the application and any other submitted communications. The applicant will have the opportunity for comments on the application or submission of additional documents. Will please come forward to the mic and give your name and address. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions that they might have on the application while you're at the mic. There will be a public comment if any public comes. They also should come forward to the mic, give their name and address all comments and questions to the board. This is application for a special permit. There are required findings for a special permit. They are, one, that it will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic flow, congestion, danger of fire or explosion are the reasons. That it will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood, that it will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in open use, and that it will not produce noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. And with that, I would ask Lisa to please read the petition.
I just have one question. The special permit questions, it says see attached. I don't have an attached. Do you have one in your packet?
I think I do.
Okay. Sorry about that. This is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicant is Walmart Store, number 2118, 301 Massachusetts Avenue in Lunenburg, Mass. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows: to provide new seasonal outdoor display sales area to occupy 8 existing parking spaces adjacent to the garden center on the west side of the Walmart store. The proposed action has not begun. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, Section 250-4.5A5, outdoor storage and display. The street address is 301 Massachusetts Avenue in Lunenburg, assessors map 74, parcel 73. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Centro GA, Lunenburg Crossing LLC, Department 124, P.O. Box 4900, Scottsdale, Arizona, 85261-4900. The deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 7339, page 358, and recorded January 11th, it says 2001. If the undersigned has any knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in the case, describe the case and the dates involved. A special permit was granted on October 28, 2015 for the outdoor display of seasonal products, 380 square foot area under storefront building canopy. The special permit questions are as follows. Will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons? The reply is, the proposal will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons. B, will this action have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? The reply, the proposal will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or the amenities of the neighborhood. C, will the proposed action be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in open use? 3, the proposal will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness. D, will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property? And the reply is, the proposal will not produce noise, vibration, dust, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of the property. It's signed by James Cranston of Bowler Engineering on May 30th of 2019. There is a letter attached dated May 28th to Lisa Normandin, Lunenburg ZBA, care of the Ritter Memorial Building, regarding the Walmart store. Dear Ms. Normandin, please allow this letter to serve as my authorization to allow Bowler Engineering, Mass. LLC Bowler of 352 Turnpike, Southborough, Mass. to act as an agent for Walmart. This would allow them to sign and submit permit applications and any necessary planning or zoning board applications to the town of Lunenburg, Mass. on behalf of matters relative to the Walmart project on Massachusetts Avenue. Authorization is for the proposed application regarding additional outsourced storage. Sincerely, Christopher Lodio, Store Manager, Store 2118, Lunenburg. Attached is a list of abutters and the small site plan from the assessor's office with a large map that I think is before you here. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
And with that, I would invite the applicant up to address.
Good evening. Good evening. Jim Cranston with Bowler Engineering. This application is fairly straightforward. Again, this project was before the board back in 2015 for outdoor sales area underneath the front of the building here. That was 380 square feet. There is an existing garden center on the side of the building here, and they're looking to store some outdoor seasonal goods in these existing 8 parking spaces for during seasonal times. We agreed to restrict that between April 1st and November 1st, which is consistent with how this prior special permit was issued. Again, we're only losing 8 spaces. The site has plenty of parking and would still comply with zoning relative to the parking requirements.
Okay. Okay, with that, I will open it up to the board if they have any questions.
Do you still plan on having the display used in the front of the building, under the awning too?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So basically, what you're asking for is for like these big things for seasonal garden goods, flowers, tomatoes, stuff like that on big racks. Will you take them in and out at night too, or just leave them there?
So the
Yeah, you have, yeah.
to mainly be for lawn and garden
Also give your
soil.
name and address.
Oh, sorry, Christopher Lotito, I'm the store manager, store 2118, 301 Mass Ave. The primary use would be for topsoil, mulch, in order to store outside. There'll actually be no plants outside. They'll actually be kept underneath the awning for an appearance effective. There's no useful way to water them correctly to prevent them from dying, where we have a water spigot on the front side of the building to maintain the presence and maintain the continuity of it. The side will also possibly be used for grills during like 4th of July season, but outside of that, that's all it'll be used for, to better accommodate the store to sell to customers.
Thank you.
So, yeah, the only question I had, Mr. Chairman, was that I noticed on your notes on the stamped plan that it said that there was no survey done. So those dimensions that you have, the 20 feet where these 8 parking spots are those based on the original plans?
Yes, based on the original plans and a variable aerial imagery, you
Yeah.
can have a good approximation for how big of an area that is.
Okay.
So we didn't feel that, spending the time and money to prepare a survey for something
Yep.
as minor as this was necessary.
That was just asking. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen?
Is the plan for just storage, or would customers be there to purchase?
So with the technology the company now has, and Walmart will be able to bring out customers out there for convenience, we'll also be able to bring out the propane and any materials out there for customer convenience. They'll also be blocked off and stationed, so it's not a safety hazard anybody, and be ADA compliant throughout, to be in accordance with all government codes for sale areas.
So you will be selling out of that area?
Correct.
So it's not just storage, because earlier it was mentioned as storage, that's why.
Yeah, so we'll have the soil there. It'll be priced, and customers, if they wish to, if they're not shopping within the building and would like to ring out right in that area, we'll be able to ring them out right there.
So I do have a concern with the, how close those parking, the area is between there and the parking spaces and how fast the traffic moves to go towards the auto center. So I do have a concern there as far as, worrying about as if there's customers there gonna be walking around versus just employees.
Yep, so right now, our initial plan is going to be actually be set off the actual drive area 4 feet inside the parking spaces that are measured out. So to give the walkable space and also to have it roped off, so there's an understanding of where to walk through in that area for consumers.
So I would look, so my concern would be is I would look to have a barrier there so that traffic would not be able to use that lane in front of that parking spaces.
Which is we have the ability to order wood planks with center blocks and actually square off the entire area right at the edge for that purpose. So it's not just a roped off area, it's a fully blocked area.
Right, but I'm talking about the driving lane that's in front of there.
Yeah, right along the front.
That's in between in between these 8 parking spaces and the parking spaces that are adjacent to it.
Yeah, that's where we would put the pillars right there,
Okay.
right along that at the edge of the
So
park.
a vehicle couldn't drive by those
Correct.
spaces anymore?
They wouldn't be able to pull in any way, shape, or form. They'd have to go through center blocks and wood in order to get into a parking spot.
Okay, all right.
Any
That's
other
fine.
questions?
Yeah.
Any questions, Patrick?
So I think what you're saying is the customers are actually going to be between the garden center and the storage, not out in the road, right?
Correct. So
Yeah,
what
okay.
we would do is right at the edge of the parking spaces, use our wood beams and center blocks here,
Yeah, so
and only have an entryway into here, so the customer would only be able to walk along the side of the building
Yes.
and into the front, and there'll be a 4-foot ingress in there as well to be compliant with ADA law.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
One last question, Mr. Chairman. So the stuff that when you walk into the garden center to the left, most of that stuff, like the soil and all that stuff, will now be moved outside to this area for the season.
Correct. And
Okay.
per mass laws, fertilizer and all that will
Yep.
remain inside,
Yep.
as that cannot be near any drainage source or
Yep.
anything. That will stay inside. It'll just be
Okay.
potting soil.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I just have a couple of little questions. Now, the drive-by, like Dave said, I know the automotive's behind. How far is it from where you're gonna actually put the little barrier? Now, I know in front of the propane, you have like cement barriers.
Correct. We have actual highway barriers that are in front of that.
Right.
The barriers that we would put up would be right along. So right here is our actual propane.
Yeah.
It'd be right to the edge, probably a foot or two in. So we would not even be near the actual. It wouldn't be in the road at all.
Okay.
There would be a distinguishable fact of the yellow line for the parking spaces being outside of that center block and being pushed back.
Right. And there's the roadway between there and the other parking spots directly across. I know that area's wide enough for 2 cars because I was there and a car came out and
Correct.
passed right by without an issue, so that doesn't seem to be an issue. In the parking spots that are directly across, are they for employees or are they customers or a combination?
That's for consumers. For our auto care center, it's where we have cars that are parked that we bring into our auto care bay and go in and out. So a customer can park there, and then we'll bring the car into the auto care center from that area as well.
Okay.
Employees are allowed to park there. They have designated areas where they're supposed to park with the white lines throughout the parking lot.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's really all I had.
So, I'm sorry, clarification. You mentioned these barriers. These barriers won't extend into the roadway. They'll be ending where the parking spaces are today?
Correct.
Okay, that's, like I say, that's a concern because I've been by that auto center killing time outside and people fly down there.
We'll push them back about a foot inside of the yellow line, so that way
I'm looking the other way around. I want your barriers halfway into that parking area.
further out.
Further out, so this way it'll either slow somebody down or cause them to use be further away from those parking spaces.
We can do that as well.
Because my concern is you're asking people to walk within the yellow lines, and I'm not gonna ask people to walk within the yellow lines.
Understand? So we can push those out further as well.
Okay, that would be my only thing, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
We would have to condition that.
Right.
When you make a motion if you wanted that. I think that if I saw it from the parking space towards, I'm gonna call it the fence where you keep, there was about maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Is that correct?
As far as if we were to push it back.
No, going the other way to give you more space. I think there was like like where the parking spots end with the yellow line, I think between there and the actual
And the
fence
garden
where the garden center is.
Yes, there's
It's about 2 feet maybe.
about 2 feet there, and we'll comply with that ADA to make it a minimum 36, most likely 48 inches.
Okay.
So we'll only be able to go about 2 pallets deep in that area, and we understand that, we just want to be able to use it for the consumer and get that area to be usable for us.
Okay, thank you.
So I just wanted to add, this aisle today is 28 feet in width, so it's pretty generous. So that gives them the ability to move those barriers out probably a couple feet and then still have 2 ways for passage. 24 feet is really all you need for 2 cars. So
Okay.
you can have like 3 to 4 feet along the edge here before the barriers are
Okay.
put up.
I just don't want something stupid,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, that's what we have to do these days, is protect people from themselves, right?
Understood.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Right. I'll make a motion that we approve with the condition that that the barrier be extended 4 feet past the parking spaces to provide extra safety.
Is 4 feet reasonable?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll ask for a vote.
Aye.
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 And aye. With that, it's
Great.
granted. I do have post-decision instructions.
Thank you.
The
Okay.
special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinances of any and all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with any conditions. Non-compliance to such conditions may result in revocation of the permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court within 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. After certification by the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed since the decision was filed, you should have it recorded at the Registry of Deeds. No special permit shall take effect until it has been recorded. This special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use of construction has commenced. With that, good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good 4th of July.
Yes. Happy selling. Quick question, Mr. Chair. Do we know what's going on with the Oliva property? Because it seems to be getting worse when it comes to
I
the trash
actually
and everything else.
Noticed that too.
Yeah.
I do not know what's going on with it.
I can check with the building inspector in the morning.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes, that's really getting bad, what he's doing out there now.
Yeah, I went by a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Kind of noticed the same thing.
Right, you know. So, yeah.
Like he's ignoring any of the prior.
Didn't they move a bunch of
stuff
stuff?
All right. Any other business, then I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
With that, this hearing is closed.